And we are live. This is KPC Radio with Behind the Bakery with your reporter, Gabriel O. A series about checking out the newest blend of California rock from one of the newest bands coming from Orange County, Pog Champ Bakery. Today, in this episode, we will be interviewing the lead guitarist of the group, Mr. Manny Tamayo Jr. Mr. Manny Tamayo, it's a pleasure to have you here. Can I call you Manny?
Go ahead. Call me whatever you feel like calling me.
Manny, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show. Now, to just get this show on the road and kick it off, I really just have the first question to be rather simple. What is your story with the band? How did you start here with the band? Was your audition process like? What started this journey with you with Pog Champ Bakery?
Well, it was a very interesting story. Me and Trevor actually worked at McDonald's for a bit, and we would always joke around. He would tell me, I play drums, and I was like, I play guitar. And he's like, we should come over and play music sometime, but we actually never did. Eventually I moved on and worked at another restaurant called Panera, and not long after I started, he also started working there. And one time I was doing a trash run with the other band member, Andrew, which is how I met him. I met him at Panera also, and he was talking about how he he plays keyboard and he sings with his own band and stuff, and I was like, that's pretty cool, that's pretty interesting. And right when we got back, Trevor was there washing dishes, and I was like, hey, no, I didn't say nothing. It was Trevor. He was like, Manuel, Andrew plays the instruments, you play instruments, and I play an instrument. We all play an instrument. He plays drums, but Andrew plays keyboard and stuff, and I play guitar. And he's like, why don't we all get together? My brother plays bass. Let's all get together and play some music. And I was like, you know what? I'm down. I got no plans today. I'll head over to your house. So I head over. We chill out. Andrew texts us. He's like, yo, one of my homies is pulling up, and we're like Andrew's he got his homies pulling up. He got someone pulling up. And that's how I met the other guitarist, Nathaniel. My favorite member of the band, if I can say.
You can't say that.
I can say it right. He is my favorite member of the band. He's Nathaniel. I mean, come on, he's Nathaniel. But anyways, we get together and we're like, we're here. What should we do? Oh, let's do something. Let's do something interesting. You guys know anything by Dramarama? We said, yeah, we know it. It's a pretty simple song, like the same 3 chords over and over and over again. We play that, and then, we're like, when do you guys want to jam again? Oh, maybe tomorrow. And then after that, oh, when do you guys want to jam again? Oh, maybe this day. And then after that, it was just kind of like, we're a band. And that's kind of how it happened.
Fascinating. To tackle a little bit on that answer, to start with, what blew my mind that I have here in my notes from your answer is that you all were co-workers when you started. So it wasn't like old school friends or longtime family getting together to, play in a garage band, similar to like the Beatles story of all of them playing since they were middle school or high school kids. You guys were just working at Panera, and then it was from there that you decided I'll get together for a jam session.
Yeah, we were just we were all co-workers except for Trevor's brother Tommy and Nathaniel, but pretty much. The craziest thing is that me, Trevor, and his brother and Andrew all went to the same high school, and we didn't even know each other then, except for Trevor and Tommy because they're brothers, of course. But but I didn't even know them when I went to that. When I went to
If I could tackle on that a little bit, so you do actually have some form of odd history with some of the band members, Andrew and Trevor Paul, to be exact.
Yeah.
So you all went to the same school, but yet never knew each other.
Yeah, we never knew each other until I started working with them. It was pretty interesting.
Fascinating. Well, if I could tackle another thing of your first answer of my question, is that you brought up that you actually met all the band members on that very first day. So was the lineup pretty much already set up from the start when it came to the Pog Champ Bakery, or the early roots of it? You guys all just met the first day and just started jamming out?
Yeah, we all just pretty much met the first day and just started jamming, and we kind of clicked. All our personalities were like, we're all pretty chill. No one's an asshole around here, right? Can I say that? I don't know. I can say that.
You can't. I'll give you permission to say that.
All right.
Just that one.
Like no one's no one's gonna be over here like being like, oh I'm better than all of you. No, like, come on, it doesn't matter. Like we're all chilling, right? So yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. And Andrew started singing spitting some bars, playing some keyboard. Next thing you know, we went ahead and wrote a little song. Me and Trevor, we were just chilling in here in the garage while the others were picking up Nathaniel. and we came up with our very first. I think it's the first song we wrote. I'm not really sure. I actually don't remember what the first song we wrote was.
So if I could actually tackle that, though you may not remember it, you guys were already writing music on the very first day.
Basically,
you guys jamming
on like our first or second day, we were already writing music. It was.
So you would say you guys were already so comfortable together, that the chemistry was so strong that you guys were already comfortable not just covering songs, but trying new stuff in the first place.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right. So if we could continue, for one more question when it comes to the early days of the band. So you already mentioned the fact that you guys were already so comfortable from the start. When did you guys officially decide to become a band, and was the original name of the band already Pog Champ Bakery?
No, that's quite the funny story. I honestly don't know when we decided to become a band. I feel like we all just decided, I guess we're in a band now. And we were like chilling in the backyard, and we were like, you know what, we need a name. And we were coming up with stuff, and most of the names we wanted were kind of already taken by other bands, and they weren't big bands. They had like a few listeners on Spotify and.
Can you give us examples of early names that you guys had for the band?
Early names. We were thinking our favorite, all around favorite. We were like, no U-turns are pretty good one, even though Trevor thinks that it as a joke on the road, and we were like, that sounds pretty good, but it was already taken. We had Fighting Sleep, which I think I just texted on the group chat when I was trying to fall asleep, and I was like, you know what, I'm over here fighting sleep. And I just texted the group chat. I was like, "Fighting Sleep band name," and then they were like, "That goes hard. That goes hard." And then we didn't really end up, sticking with it. The funny way we came up with Pog Champ Bakery. Yeah, we were all chilling in Tommy's truck, and I was in the back seat, just chilling, and I was like, you know what? Why don't we just make our name Pog Champ Bakery? Like, we're all Pog Champs. We all work in a bakery, and. They were all like that, and he was like, "That goes hard," and everyone else was like, "I'm down with it, I'm down with it," and I was like, "Guys, it's a joke, right? I said it as a joke, right?" But yeah, and it was a joke until it wasn't.
On that joke, so you're telling me that the early inspirations of this joke turned into the official name of the group was actually from your days of working in Panera with the group?
Yeah.
Okay, so it came from the inspirations of Panera, and then it became a joke, and then it ended up becoming the band name. If I could just add a quick comment, I love the idea of fighting sleep. The fighting sleepers would be something I would think up, or the fighting dreamers. I love that how you went from something so unique and artistic to Pog Champ Bakery. No disrespect towards the name. I just love the story of it. Excellent.
It's an interesting story.
Speaking of taking things seriously, as you mentioned in your original answer of what got you started with the group, you guys started just as early as a simple jam session and just happened to just fall into even getting so comfortable to writing music. Would you say that from the start you guys were already attempting to take this more professionally, or was it for the first few days or weeks just simply a fun jam session with coworkers?
I feel like for the first few days, it was a pretty much kind of like a jam session with coworkers, and then I think about a week or two in, we were like, we're in a band. That's it. We're in a band.
So it was just a 2-week realization that this is something that you were taking serious. Kind of like, when a couple starts going on a few more dates and they realize, I think we're officially a thing.
Basically, we were like, you know what? I think we're together, guys.
Excellent. Moving on to the next question that I have for you. When it comes to the band lineup, so you guys are officially so far a band of 5, correct? That's the lineup?
Yep.
Was there ever considerations for another band member or even replacing another member of the band or in the first early weeks, or were you guys already set up from day one with that 5 lineup band?
From the first day, we actually had all 5 members, the 5 original members. The second day, Andrew brought in his friend Alex to play some guitar, play with us for a bit, and I don't know, I guess it didn't really stick. Trevor really likes the idea of just 5-piece band, and that's the max he'll like. And I think it's a pretty good number as well, too. I feel like any more than 5 is a little, depending on the instrument they play, but if there's 3 guitars, I don't know. We're not the Eagles, right? We're not the Eagles.
tackling that question of the 5 lineup, that actually does interest me because famously throughout the last few decades, most rock bands would never pass that 4 number. So what made you guys decide that you guys needed a 5th member of the band? Were you guys just so comfortable with 5 that going any higher or lower was just simply impossible, or did you just want to experiment to see with the big band style?
Well, it's okay. So like, 4 members would be enough theoretically. I mean, it is enough members. The one thing is that with only 4 members, like, yeah, you can add keyboard like and stuff like in the recording, but when you play live, like, there's no one to play like keyboard parts or anything. So Andrew's really mainly like our keyboard and vocalist, and it kind of gives like the guitarist and like us to kind of like come up with, nice parts to complement vocals, because it's pretty tricky playing like pretty hard lead parts and stuff while you're singing and stuff. And like, yeah, it could still be done with a 4-piece band, but Andrew could play keyboard and sing at the same time, so it's kind of like, it's more opportunity for like more interesting sound, I feel like.
So you would say that it was more for a need of experimenting for the days of the band to consider doing experimental stuff even live, so to not have a kind of what I call the Pink Floyd problem, because Pink Floyd famously in the 70s when working on The Wall, actually, for my audience that didn't know, when they were working on their final album with the original lineup, it was a near disaster financially, because their project for The Wall was so big that they just couldn't get the big enough audience to be able to pull off a Cirque du Soleil style production as they did. So was that sort of your way to avoid that kind of issue, to just have a big band already from the start so you can experiment more?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like that, I guess.
Excellent. Moving on actually to tackle the question of the sound of the band. As you already mentioned that you guys are going for more of an experimental kind of sound. Is that the kind of sound that you would describe for Pog Champ Bakery? Or has there been another sound that you guys have tried to stick with before?
We tried a couple of different sounds, but I don't know. Like, we have quite a few sounds, I feel like. Like, we have a few softer songs and a few heavier songs. I would say it's kind of like I want to say alternative, but everything is alternative nowadays, and
Fair enough.
I would say it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a mixture of punk and indie.
Punk. So would punk and indie be the main genre that you would say you guys focus on currently?
I feel like punk, indie, rock,
I asked that because also on that note, I believe it was Andrew Reese, the first member that we interviewed for the show. You can check out on kpcradio.com that he described your guys' sound to be focusing more for what he called Pog rock. Is that something that you guys have considered be tackling, creating your own subgenre of rock, really pioneering a new sound, or is that really just more of a joke that when the band members brought up over your desire to experiment?
I think, in all seriousness, we are a Pog rock genre. It's a new genre we're inventing. I don't care what you want to call it. It's Pog rock, and that's what we're calling it. That's what everyone else is going to call it because we invented it. Pog rock. That's what it is.
Fascinating. On that note of Pog rock, when it comes to bands performing live or performing in the studio, the Beatles are a famous one that I like to think about. That famously, halfway through their careers, they decided to stop touring and focus more on the studio sound and focusing more on making productions more than worrying about performing live. Would you consider Pog Champ Bakery to be focused more on performances or being more of a studio group, really experimenting with new kind of sounds in the production side of things?
I feel like right now we're more focused on like live performances, and usually after playing like a live show we try to transition into studio work, but a show always comes up for us, so it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's hard to be in the studio a lot, but it's definitely a little bit of a challenge, especially with all our schedules and stuff.
Fascinating. Well, in that case, speaking on performances, this is where we get to the fun stuff of wanting to learn about your first show. So the past member that I actually interviewed, Tommy, talked about the whole idea that you guys threw your first performance just in the second week. Is that something true? Can you confirm or deny that?
Yeah, we did. It was. I believe it was a Friday of our second week, like playing as a band. Yeah.
Where did that performance take place to start with?
It took place in Andrew Reese's backyard.
So it took place in one of the members, the band members' backyard.
Yeah.
What was the audience that you described for that? Was that something like that you invited the whole town to come see, try to promote it there? Or was it more like a family cookout or barbecue or an asada?
It was kind of like a family event. I think he was throwing, and he invited some friends. Everyone invited a couple friends to go, and a few friends showed up and listened to us play. It wasn't like a huge audience or anything, but it was nice.
Excellent. So when it comes to that first performance, your first performance being in a backyard with the band, would you say that helped ease tensions of it, knowing that it was just simply a family-friendly event, or was there still a lot of tension amongst yourself personally to be performing on stage to a group of people? Do you have experience performing live, or was it your first time, and did you feel anything at all from being your first performance in a new band?
Well, I don't really get nervous performing live, and yeah, like having people there is kind of I always like to say this. It's more comfortable to play in front of people you don't know than to play in front of people you do know.
Is that right?
For me, at least.
And why would that be, if you don't mind elaborating on that?
I don't know. I guess it's because people actually know you and stuff. And
is it that fear of disappointment that maybe you're not good enough for them?
Maybe.
The classic paranoia of you're not going to be good enough live for them, or it's going to weird them out.
Maybe it's just awkward sometimes, but I have experience kind of like performing in high school, like with whether if it was with the jazz band or with the marching band or the wind ensemble or any other performances that I was part of. I did a couple like talent shows here and there at school and stuff like that. So in terms of performing, I have, like, I wouldn't say like professional experience, but I have some experience, so I don't really get nervous anymore. I just kind of go up there and do my thing.
So, to tackle a little bit of your answer, you even brought up that you have performed with not just groups before, but you performed for your school before, in like the school jazz band. So you would consider yourself to be a more veteran performer when it comes to that side of things?
I would say so. I'm pretty used to the whole performing live thing.
So would you say, compared to the other band members, that you were definitely more comfortable performing on stage for that very first performance?
I don't know, because I know Trevor and Tommy have performed live also before, so I don't know if they're more comfortable than me with it. But I would say I'm pretty comfortable. I don't know if I'm more comfortable than them, but.
Excellent. And how would you rate your first performance with the band? Do you think that you all were comfortable from the start? Did it take some time throughout the show to be all comfortable together? Do you think it was a massive hit, or did the audience seem to react positively? How would you describe that very first show?
I think it was a hit. I feel like not really like a hit as in a lot of people came by to see us, but a hit as in it was a pretty good show, and we all were kind of comfortable with each other enough to kind of just play like how we play in the garage.
Excellent. So, to tackle now the final question that I have for you tonight. You have your first performance in 2 weeks with the band. How long have you been performing with Pog Champ Bakery, if I may ask? I believe the other members have said 3 months. Has it been 3 months with you in this band?
Yeah, it's about 3 months, I feel like, yeah.
3 months with the band. You've already, I believe, Tommy told me that you guys have already done 3 shows since that first performance?
Yep.
3 shows. So with 3 shows, 3 months to Pog Champ Bakery, where do you see yourself 5 years in the future with this group? Do you have full confidence in the next 5 years you'll be continuing to perform with Pog Champ Bakery? Do you guys see yourself expanding maybe for a more national or global audience? Or do you have more plans of even leaving the band and trying with other groups, or even pursuing a new career altogether?
Well, in 5 years, that's a pretty interesting question. In 5 years, that's interesting, because I would like to still be performing with the band, but I do have plans of like going to Japan for a bit and working there for a bit, maybe like a year or 2. So in 5 years, I might just be over there chilling, or I might just not go through with those plans, and maybe I'll stay here. Maybe we'll still be playing music. Maybe we'll have a better job with a set schedule, so I can, we can make it easier to plan rehearsals and performances and stuff. But I would like to still be playing with them in 5 years, but if that doesn't go to plan, then And I don't know. I guess I'll just be chilling in Japan, and maybe we can play when I come back. If I come back, I'll probably come back.
That's excellent. So just to tackle on that a little more, so you've already had plans to be leaving the country altogether to venture into another continent around the world.
Yeah.
Was that a plan that you've already had before joining the band, or has that been some recent plans that you had to further your career of venturing into working and studying in Japan?
That's kind of a career I had before joining the band. It was right after. I feel like I've had this plan for like a year or two. Right after I got my associates. So, and I was like, you know what, I'll go for my bachelor's, because you do need a bachelor's to work in Japan, so I was like, I'll go for it, and the next thing you know, I joined the band, and I was like, oh my gosh, how's it going to work out? But you know what, I'll just go with the flow, and I'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Excellent, excellent. So would you definitely say that your current success or current focus on this band right now is really affecting your future plans to be leaving the country anytime soon? Do you think it heavily affected enough to even consider staying altogether? Or as you mentioned, would it just be something that you wouldn't mind once you're done with your adventures in Japan to just simply come back to and try to make it work?
You know, depending on how and where we are as a band in 5 years, like it may be, if we're decently well known, I guess I would consider staying, but if not, then I guess I'll just be over there for a bit, and maybe I'll come back and we'll try again.
Excellent. Manny, that was our last question for the interview today. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Before we leave, is there anything that you'd like to promote of your own line of work or anything that the band is currently working on that our audience at KPC Radio would love to hear about?
Well, I would like to promote our upcoming album we're working on. It's probably going to be called Upstairs at Manuals or whatever we decide to call it. Since we're probably... actually, we're not really recording in my room anymore. We're recording with Trevor, so it might be called, Trevor's Room or something. It might be called something silly. But we might also be releasing, a single or a small EP, depending on how many songs we get recorded. But other than that, I also do have my solo career that I haven't really written any music for myself in the past because I've been a little bit busy, but if you check out Close Distance on Spotify, that would be greatly appreciated.
If we could tackle that real quick before the end of the show. So you just admitted to me that before Pog Champ Bakery, you've already had a solo career that you practiced with the artist named Close Distance?
Yeah, Close Distance.
Do you have any future projects in the future to be working in your solo career, or do you think you're right now definitely full-time focusing with Pog Champ Bakery?
Right now I'm really focusing with Pog Champ Bakery, but I might release a song here and there, maybe a small EP, which is my songs. Because I don't know, I really like my sound. That sounds like I'm full of myself, but I like it. It's nice.
Excellent. Manny, it's once again an absolute pleasure to have you here on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Behind the Bakery, Manny's interview with your reporter, Gabriel O, signing off. You all have a lovely day.